Hello, everyone. It is me, Samuel, here. I am going to talk about this. I got a surprise through the mail today, and in a big, big envelope like this. And what it is it is actually a Kentucky Colonel Award.
That's great, man.
Yes, this is commentator Mr. Nash, Pastor Nash. But yes, today I got this award through the mail, guys. So I was happy. I am happy very much. Whoever did this, I am happy that you did this for me. So, I mean, it's well deserved. My time in the Civil Air Patrol, my time with my friends in there, my time with doing things around Crossville, helping a thrift store out for couple of years. Um, oh, I mean, you helped with Mike with a lot of things. What'd you help him with?
Well, we getting that chicken over there from the Christian place, Chick-fil-A. Thank you very much, Chick-fil-A, for your help. We were able to give a lot of hungry people food and witness to them, tell them about the Lord Jesus Christ. One man, he was sitting out over there by that. What's the name of that? That one right across from Bucky's on the other side of the interstate. It's a truck stop over there. And they got a Wendy's.
Pilot?
Yeah, Pilot. Yeah. They got
Pilot, as I would always hear on the news. Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about now.
Yeah, now, this guy was all up in front of the door, on the side of the door, not inside the place, but he was on the outside. He had a dog to keep him warm. And I talked to him.
Hold on just a second. I want to give a shout out, big shout out, guys, to this company called Bloom. They make the best and the greatest and the most best of coffees out there. So does Common Grounds Coffee Shop in Crossville as well. Just so you guys know, Common Grounds is located behind the Crossville Chronicle. So I will say this: I suggest you to go there. They're better people, good people, and people that have clasp and people that have better customer service. And so does Bloom. I don't know if you've ever heard of Bloom, but Bloom also has the greatest coffee too. So we also have Bloom is coffee and espresso. If you guys have ever heard of that, they're also located in Crossville, Tennessee as well. So you guys go out there and check it out, and they got the best prices on the coffee, and it is made fresh, and it tastes great. I mean, it is great too. I mean, so I really couldn't tell the difference between Bloom and Common Grounds, to be honest with you. But they match up the same. Their coffee is wonderful, great. I mean, I like it. I mean, you've been to Common Grounds. You like their coffee, don't you?
Yeah, I like it. It's good coffee.
So I appreciate their customer service, their diligence, and everything else. That they go, beyond and above. So I want to let you guys know we've never been kicked out of there, and I thank you very much from Sbfshow. Mr. Gary Nash also appreciates that. There's been a couple places where we did pay a decent amount of money and we got kicked out of there because it was their close to closing time and whatnot. And we were kicked out of there, yelled at, screamed at, all of that. So, I mean, I appreciate you all not doing that. Thank you. Somebody that puts hospitality first, customers first, people that treat customers right. The people that have actual business mentality and attitude.
Yeah.
Somebody that knows what they're doing. Thank God there's somebody in this town that knows what they're doing actually for a change.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's probably refreshing when you have somebody that's a complete idiot, and then all of a sudden they turn around and they get things right, and then
yeah.
everybody's happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a positive, actual positive experience. When
Right.
you walk through there, one place it was like a non-positive experience. I mean, and I'll be honest with you, you know, um, I think I was employed there or something for a little while, and they just decided to on top of this, decided to judge me by my weight, this, that, the other. How come I don't think like they do? How come I'm not an arrogant narcissist? Uh, you know, nut job like they are that doesn't know what they're doing in business. Because I mean, if you have that, I'm sorry, but if you have that arrogant narcissistic attitude that's just runs people off, you're going to run people off and they're not going to want nothing to do with you. So,
Nobody likes to sit and listen to somebody boast about themselves.
right. And that's the point I've been trying to get across is, hey, you owe my family an apology for screaming at me like that, number one. And my family is too afraid to go in your establishment due to that stuff that happened. So, we are not coming back to your establishment because of that. So, I mean, I'm just what I've done is let bygones be bygones, but I've also been indirectly talking about this issue. But now here we are talking about this issue. Thank God, because I mean, there's not a lot of people that know about business, and we do because my family. Now a lot of people don't know this, but Christine Virginia Norris owned the barbecue, which was a barbecue / bar restaurant kind of deal, way back years ago, and she owned it for 30 something plus years, and she sold it in like 2005. Okay, 2005, folks.
What is that thing
She
called
it is the now a lot of people don't know this, but she was a lady that was a very business minded woman, and she knew what she was doing. She treated people with respect, did what she did. She's not a horrible person. She did her job the way she needed to do it, but now that she's, dead and gone, she passed away in 2011, due to natural causes, but still, the point is, why can't people, lead a business after seeing examples of how other businesses do their work and how they do their jobs? I mean, you want to, and why don't they ask, well, hey, how did you manage your business for years? Did you run people off and scream and yell at them before, like, 30 minutes before closing time and whatever, and not treat them with hospitality? I mean, these are questions you need to be asking if you're going to be an entrepreneur. I mean, it's just, I mean, this is your research. This is your stuff you need to do, I mean, am I right, Gary, or wrong?
No, you're right. People have to understand one thing. If you don't take care of your customers, somebody else will.
Yeah, somebody else will. And your business is going to go like that. Just kind of dramatic here, but your business is going to go down tubes, like that. So, I mean, I'm just trying to help you with maybe some information here to be more informative, and but there's a lot more to business than just that. Even it's finances, it's dividing out what goes to your workers, your overhead, your this, that, the other, your distributors, suppliers, yeah. Which is still factored in overhead though when you think of that too. Um, that's one of those things that you've got to know what you're doing. Um, if you don't, still, you're not going to do, I launched my first business in a mistake and I shut it down years ago. So, and I did that because I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I need more schooling to know what I'm doing. Well, I do now. So, and I've, you know, was taught, had to go through business classes in my photography college stuff. I had to know that. I didn't get away with, oh, let's get drunk and have somebody else to go and do my stuff or study for me. I didn't go that route like most people out here these days. I'm not going to pull the rich kid nonsense. I'm going to go ahead and be honest and actually talk to people and let them know, hey, this is how business should work, blah, blah, blah. Now, a lot of them let policies get in the way and say, oh, yeah, well, this and this. Well, I call it unnecessary policies that should be weeded out like this. If you can see my hands, weeded out of what we need and what we don't need, and what may, and that's what another thing that these businesses should look at. I mean, I've been in 4 magazines. I had companies tell me I could be fired for being in 4 magazines. That's absurd and ridiculous. And only that does not look good on you as a business owner. It does not look good on your business because you're not wanting to bring that celebrity status in your business. You're not wanting to have somebody that's a front runner of your business that could make you big bucks. I don't know why you would be so crazy and nutty that you would not want that in your business. You have to be a complete nut and somebody needs counseling at some mental health center if you're going to do that type of stuff. I'm sorry to sound that way, but it's true.
Well, you know what it is, Samuel.
These people don't want people to get famous or noticed because they have an issue with other people. I guess they think you're going to be their competition. Well, I'm a photographer. I am not your competition in retail.
Right.
Or any other stuff other than, I might sell my services, but there's a contract with that too. So it's kind of different from retail. So, anyways, anyway, you try to form it and switch it and play politics with it, you're not going to get anywhere. It's going to look more stupid. The more deeper you get into it, the more stupid you look. So, anyways, I'm going to let Mr. Nash talk for a minute.
Yeah, well, I would probably say about 10 years old. I was selling subscriptions to the newspaper. And I got so good at it that I was making close to $100 a night back in the 60s. Back in the 60s, minimum wage was $1.75 an hour. And my dad was working in a aerospace company. He worked in there. Matter of fact, he redesigned the motor, and took the guys to the moon and back. The first ones that went to the moon. And they made it all the way back. They were having trouble having enough fuel. My dad showed them how to build the motor. So it would do it, and it would produce way more energy and power. So it would make it all the way over and all the way back on what happened. And at that time, I was making more money than my dad as an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So Gary, how many years were you in business with Nashville Customs Incorporated?
well, I worked on research and development. I spent about $250,000, and I got it all together. I got my patents in. I got everything done right. And I came up with a guitar. Instead of using wood, I use carbon fiber. It's like in the Bugattis, they have carbon fiber on the outside of their car showing it off. You know, it's lighter than I think. Well, it's really ultra light. I mean, it's just so light. The stuff is like my guitar body's only weighed about 3 or 4 pounds. Now, a regular guitar body would weigh between 9 and 12 pounds. So you can see the difference.
Right.
And so anyway, but the thing about my guitars, I designed them like a drum. I remember hearing some guys that were pretty smart talking about sound and how you got to do it. I mixed groups for about 11 years later on, but I think it was 3 or 4 quartets, 1 quintet, and special singers. There was a lot of really good guys at this one church, and they were
let me okay. Let me ask you this here. Which one did you prefer, wood and on the guitar bodies, and did you prefer wood or just a carbon fiber or both and
Oh, well, I'll put it this way: if you have a wood guitar, it would get, let's say, 30% less tone and volume than a carbon fiber guitar. I mean, it was that much difference. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And the sound was so resonant that the guitar, when you play it, it resonated on every string. And for somebody that plays an instrument like that for the first time, they're shocked. I didn't know things could play like this. One guy, he was really good. He sat down there. I was at the NAM out in Los Angeles, and he was in Anaheim somewhere out there anyway. But it was the yearly big show for guitars and guitar parts and all the vendors that sell stuff to guitar companies and guitar stores. And all the big manufacturers were there. And I had a professional guy, he played for some big band. I had him just sit out there and play my guitar loud for everybody in the show to hear. And,
I'm a little bit lost. Is it out in Escondido, California, Hollywood, or is it out there in
that's not
do what?
I got such a big kick out of that one guy that he was trying to tell Samuel, oh man, you don't know much about shooting videography, and Samuel was doing a good job. I watched him. I worked for 2 years with a guy by the name of Rick Cole, West Point Productions. We did national ad campaigns. I got rated by the people that rate all the big networks.
Yeah.
For one of my jingles that I did, and they said I got a standing ovation in the guy's office. There was a bunch of people in there, and then the guy stood up and said to my friend Rick Cole, I wasn't there. He just wanted to see what they thought about it because I knew that he was actually wanting to get a little boost out of this. But anyway, he came back and told me, and he said, the guy stood up and said, this is the best targeted hamburger commercial I've ever heard. And this guy's the top guy that checks out everybody's ads in the business. All the big networks, they go to him. They rate it. They tell them where they're wrong, what they're doing wrong. Mine was number 1, period. And I give all the glory to God because, I never even done it before. That's the first one I ever did. So it only gets better after that, right? But
Yeah.
anyway,
I mean,
Samuel, he knows me. And I only got 4.
I mean, I did you all's photos for your cover album, and then I went in there. I wasn't expecting to hear much of Jay to say anything much. I was expecting to hear you all say this is horrible crap, and or that it was this is. But the way I did it was I blew up. Okay, here's what I did. I blew up the um the 4 men standing, and then they had the beach behind them, and that's what I did. And then they was like, I like it. Wow. Jay said, what did he say when he heard when he seen that?
He said it looked just like the Bahamas. It's that what was it? That Bermuda. The Bermuda. It looked like the island of Bermuda, and it was beautiful. And it looked like we were all sitting on the beach. We were standing at the beach. One guy was sitting on a chair. But all it was we had a green screen. Samuel had a green screen. I said, yeah, put that thing up there behind us, man. Let's do this. And he did it, and it came out perfect. I mean, people were really shocked how good it came out. But it doesn't take, if you have.
Yeah, I used a green screen, folks. Yes, I actually still have that green screen. I didn't get rid of it. I need it for projects such as that, because I mean I could do that.
He did a great job on it. Everybody liked it. Everybody thought that was just the greatest, man.
Yeah, that was very detailed too. I worked on that for hours that one night when I will say that I worked on it for hours, but it paid off though at the end. You guys paid me, and I was happy.
There was one rock on the beach that kind of like stuck out, and it kind of didn't look too good with the rest of it. So Samuel just took Ocean over here and put it over the rock. And it came out so great, man. It was sharp. We used it for our album cover, and everybody loved it, And Jay was a really great friend of mine. He was my best friend here in Tennessee, I think, because
now a lot of people know who Jay is. Real quick, he was actually the song ambassador for Bermuda, the country Bermuda, which it says a lot. Not a lot of people know that, but yes, and also he's been on television in the past. He also was, and this was in Bermuda, but it aired nationally. If I'm not mistaken, internationally too. Because I remember some other people commenting and saying, I've seen that guy on TV, but that's been many, many years ago. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's.
Yeah, Jay was, he saw me singing in the church. And, of course, I was in the business, years before, but I was a hard rock metal man, kind of like, well, my guitar player was the guy that played on the first Black Sabbath album. He played all the leads on it. His name was Steve Lacy, great guitarist. And we did our album. It was down in it was in LA. Yeah, we did it in LA. I was still out in LA, and Steve and myself, my uncle was living in where was that? I can't think of it. Anyway, it's where the little old lady from Pasadena. He lived out by Pasadena, and I met Steve Lacy there, and he had played for Black Sabbath. He played for a lot of bands. I mean, he was just a hot guitarist, and we hit it off really good together, him and I. And we did our first demo album. And the first place we went, they offered us. But you got to remember, this is back in the '70s, early '70s. We were
Mm-hmm.
That was the first place we went.
Now I do. Now I mean I do like how you play the guitar. I mean it's very and it sounds like the stuff from way back in the day. And I will say this: I do not like the stuff that's today's day and age. Today's day and age is some of it don't make any sense when these people. I don't know what they do. I don't know if they just get high and think of stupid stuff or what, because music was at one point meant to tell a story, but anymore it just sounds, it's all jumbled together and people don't make much sense with music, to be honest. I mean, the music you hear today, it's just gone downhill. I mean, it makes you ask what happened.
Well, yeah, because during the 70s and 80s, it was any little girl that was pretty enough to be on the front of a teen magazine was turned into a singer. And even if she couldn't sing, they'd go in the studio and they'd have to retune her voice so that it would sound right. And then, and sometimes they'd have to have somebody else cut it. But that was like, what was that one? Well, there was a lot of them. Let's just put it that way. There were so many of them. I just got sick of it because, they're doing all these little tricks. They have machines that puts the thing automatically right on pitch. So if they sing flat, it takes it and pulls it right up till it's right in tune. So that's just, it's not fair for people that really sang for a living,
Right.
But they do that because they look good. They're more sellable. Who are some of those? Some of those little blonde-haired girls that were like little ding-dings,
Right.
I can't even think. But anyway, they were doing that. We were like cutting edge. Matter of fact, I'll tell you one song that we did a solo that probably outdid the song, the thing from Hotel California.
Right.
Now theirs was fit their song. Now I got to give them that much. They did as good as they could possibly do, I think. And it was a great song. That Hotel California set the hair up on the back of your neck, boy. It was just spooky,
Right. Question.
And it was all about people stuck there because they got put in hell, and we're living it up at the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a pretty face, all that stuff.
Yeah, now there's some of those songs though that you couldn't understand. It was kind of hard to understand at first. Now.
Yeah, well, they didn't really care. I mean, if it was selling, they left it alone. If you got me myself, I always liked to do my lead vocals one time through, and that's it. Yeah.
Well, at least your music's clear and I can understand it. Some of the other people know.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, what are they on,
Yeah. But anyway, around that time, I found the Lord, and I was 26 years old. I had to go back to Stevie and tell him, Stevie, I can't play this music no more. I got to go serve the Lord. And I knew what it meant. It meant dedicating my life to Christ with the winning of souls.
Now, a lot of people would say, now, Gary, why would you do such a thing like that, to go and give up your career for making thousands to millions of dollars in music and go to the Lord? Now, a lot of people have asked me that question, and that's because some of them only go to church for a social life or a social gathering type of thing, and they don't really believe in God. And that's the problem. I know exactly that's the problem right there. They don't really believe in God, so they're gonna say, well, why would you do that? And then a lot of them are greedy guts, and they'll say, oh, well, I want the money. I don't want that money, and I'm like, you want that money, but the thing of it is, you're putting money first. when you start thinking about money, money is the root to all evil. God knows that money is a tool for us to use to be able to get by on this planet. The thing of it is, when we start thinking about money all the time and using it for the wrong reasons or using it for
That's the love of money you're talking about right there.
Yes.
So the love of money is the root of all evil.
Not money itself, not as in being as a tool to get by, but I mean, if you're just trying to be one of these preachers that cares nothing about the money and no God, then you are sadly mistaken. You need to repent and talk to God for a little while, and if you really all about the money, that's just greed and love of money sitting inside your soul, and that's what's wrong with you. Am I right?
It's set right where your heart should be.
So, and you've got to set right with God and repent, and but I mean, I look at it this way: God knows, if you're in need of money, you could pray for, hey, I need a job, Lord, I need this, I need something going for my way, I need a hand up in life, um, and go from there, and instead, but and the thing of it is, you want to be a preacher that prays for people too, not hey, why didn't you come to church last week and support me and give me like $300 or $400 in tithes? I've seen some like that too, and I'm like, okay, so you're asking for a handout for your preaching. Okay, well, that's kind of like, there again, you're saying you need money. There's a way to go about that. How about ask the Lord for it, not go through someone and tell them about it?
Because, see, the Lord said, freely you have received, freely give. If you've received the knowledge about Christ and you know how to minister to the people, you don't worry about the money.
No.
God will give you the money. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry.
And some reason the pastor I know has got this worry thing that I need money. Oh my God. You can't be like that either. You got to think, okay, I'm going to get money. I mean, and sometimes there's patience involved with that. There's a lot of patience. And yes, it's going to try your patience. The thing of it is, it's timing. You got to always think of, am I going by my own timing when I go and ask people for money, or am I going by God's timing? And the answer to that should be, you're going by your own timing, not God's timing. God's timing is when you get the funds to do whatever you need to do for your church, So, I mean, I understand you guys have a business to run, but also my thing is, why, why do you want to ask for money that through, from somebody through that just walk through the doors? I mean, you don't want to. Yeah, they probably need, I'd look at it like this. They probably need Jesus Christ, and that's probably why they're there. And they probably, and they, or, who knows why they're there, but they're there to hear the message of the Lord. They're not there to play this money game stuff. They're not there to play Rockefeller, They're there to be, to hear the message of what the Lord is speaking through the pastor. That is what they're there for.
When I was 12 years old, I finally got to go to the big church. It was First Baptist Church in Cedar, California. sized church. It probably hold about 400 or 500 people. Not as big as Central Baptist, but yeah, it was a pretty big church. 400 or 500 people. It's not a small congregation. Anyway, but as a kid, 12 years old, they had me in these, kids classes, right?
Yeah.
Then that Sunday, my mom got me a little suit. And she said, "Okay, son, you're gonna put this little suit on here." Got me a nice little suit.
And can I hold all conversation for a minute? I feel like that's why God took me to his place in 2021, is to nip it in the butt about what we're talking about right now. Is that, hey, pastors, come on, get real. Stop playing these money games and getting all greedy and just trying to use church as a business and to gain money for the wrong reasons and be greedy. Let's be helpful. Let's help our communities with that money. Let's do the most charitable thing out there by helping the homeless. Try to help these people out that's struggling, whatever. That's what the money is to. And it's also to pay for the church too. But that's called a percentage that goes to the church. But you need to, but to sit there and be greedy and and use the church for only just rich people and rich people only type of church, and be that kind of way. I hate to say it, but God's not in your church. I'm sorry, but he is not in your church if you're going to be greedy and use money in the wrong ways.
Well, look, that pastor needs a brand new Cadillac this year, and he's got to have a house at least twice that big, because he's got to have a big house now. He's had a little house 2 years now. I think we ought to just, and that guy's probably getting paid to say it. We're just got to build him a great big old house with 7 bedrooms and a 3-car, 4-car.
Here's a problem with that. When it comes to using tithes for personal stuff, that's embezzlement.
Well, yeah, now see, but they run it through a board of directors, and the board of directors vote on it. And that's how they do it. Now, God's already said, freely you receive, freely give.
Unless you're saying that there's a way around it, if that's what you're saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They make that way around so that they can do it. And it's sad, but it's true. I'll tell you what I said. I told my mom when I went to the big church. The first Sunday I went there, I had on my little suit. Boy, I was feeling like, I said, I'm going to hear about Jesus. That man didn't even preach. He didn't say nothing about Jesus that I heard. And it was so boring to listen to him begging for offerings. And if he didn't get it on one, let's take one more offering. We got to get this money here, blah, 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 blah. And then, well, we still need one more offering.
Now, I'll say this. I seen someone I knew dish out like $300 to the church. I thought, oh my gosh, that's a lot. But the thing of it is, I'm not trying to tell you do what you need to do with your money, but I'd put your family, I'd put God first, yes, but I'd also put family first as well. And I will say this: I feel like you were given a little too much on tithing, because you're supposed to tithe 10% of what you make out of your paycheck. Is usually how it goes.
It would work if everybody did it. If everybody tithed 10% of what they make, God would bless it.
Yes. Now, however, I've had all sorts of blessings like that, and it does. And it does come back to you. Yes, it does.
Yeah, the last book in the Old Testament is Malachi, and Malachi preached that message to all the people. It's like, don't think you're not supposed to. You're supposed to quit tithing. You're not supposed to quit tithing. That's the money that goes for the needy, the sick, the grandmothers that don't have anybody to take care of them. The church is supposed to take care of the aged and
I mean, I've seen churches call the cops on somebody that was homeless, which I feel is wrong in so many levels when they should be helping somebody.
Why would he come to the church? Because he's homeless. He don't smell good. You know.
So we're gonna. So he's homeless and don't smell good. So we get. Oh yeah, hold on a minute. So he's homeless. He don't smell good. So we call the police. Is that? I mean, is it because? I mean.
You know what we always did.
I mean, that can also kind of come across vindictive and judgmental when it says Matthew 7. When you read Matthew 7, it talks about judgment, you know. So I wish these preachers would grasp that and realize that, but a lot of them graduated out of hard knocks, you know, and not realize that yet.
Let me put it this way to you. If you're doing good, God promises to bless you. So why would you need to get over and over take tithes for something that you want to do with the church, and these other people have to put up the money for it? You know, that ain't right. You give your 10% and let everybody get blessed. You know, because if you did that, see, some of these rich people, they don't want to pay anything. They give $20. You know, guys making $200,000 a year, and he should be given $20,000 a year. You know?
Now, some of them, you know, but you can't. Now, I'll say this: you can't be a preacher and then decide to try to, you know, try to get money out of somebody and tell them that they're immature for not donating money, you know, and all that nonsense. But you know, you got to tell, you know, and that you've not been attending. I could not attend because I work. I am a hardworking man that respects his job and that tries his best to keep me, you know, make ends meet in life and to do what I need to do. You know, I'm trying my best now. You know, but however, I'm not.
This works for me. Best thing I ever did. I make about $1,200 on my Social Security.
I'll say, let me say this real quick. I am not one of these corrupt people that's into, you know, like that give you that. I'm not one of these people that give you that look of like, go on, get, you shouldn't be here, you know, go on, get, what do you want from me? Why do you want to be friends with me? Why do you want to even talk to me? You know, I'm not one of those people. I've met some of those people. And if you're one of those people, that'll be real standoffish, and most people won't want anything to do with you either. The feelings would be rather mutual, just FYI. So, you know, I mean, and I'll say this, that comes across judgmental too. You're violating the Bible in Matthew 7.
Yeah, well, see what it is, Samuels. They don't want to tithe because it takes too much away from them. You know, well, I just spend that money myself. What am I going to give to him for a new Cadillac? I ain't do that. No. But what people should be doing is thinking about putting it into what I did. I got 33 children now in Africa. I got them a house. I pay their rent. I pay for their food. I got them Bibles. I got them iPads and computers so they can do their schooling now. And I got 33 little babies and kids up to about 15 years old that are speaking two languages. They speak Swahili and they speak English. And they read their Bibles, and I've listened to some little girls about 10 or 12 years old. She sat there and recited from memory about a chapter or two of Bible. I mean, that's incredible that a little kid like that, you know what they were before that, Samuel? They were eating out of trash heaps in Africa, rotten food and all full
and let me tell you something about Gary here. When he preaches, he says, it is up to you all if you want to give a love offering. You don't have to if you don't want to. He leaves that offer on the table whether you don't want to or not. Now, some of the now, but you get some of these that are, I guess, prosperous churches or prosper churches, more prosper for themselves than they are about helping the people. But the point is we should be helping our people out in the community instead of let's think about ourselves and do nothing for the community. You know.
That's not right. Yeah. We have to be givers, not takers. God says, be givers, not takers.
Right.
To,
so if you are in a church like this, note that these are probably signs that your church is not spirit filled yet, or that it is going through changes of either it's going through greed or something going on with people being greedy. So I would suggest that, hold on a minute, I will suggest the Bible warns, God warns his people of deceitful and deceit of the churches. So I will leave that with you today. I appreciate you guys for listening to Samuel Brock Flynn Show. We are out of time, and you guys have a great night. Mr. Nash he said, take care and beware. The shaking might be coming about, and to get ready.
God's going to clear out all the F&M spirits, and he's going to clear out all the people that have their hearts fully set against God. Those people are going to get it.
Well, I appreciate having you on tonight.
That's right. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. I hope I proved a point on here.